Good afternoon. Welcome alumni, welcome current students, welcome faculty, former faculty, friends, families. This is great. This is our 11th Hall of Fame, Athletic Hall of Fame, and we're really happy to have it going on here again live and in person. You know, a bunch of years ago when we started this, we didn't really know how it would evolve, but for those, I call them kids, who know me, in my 12 years, I'm something of a athletic nut when it comes to being a super fan. And not only do I see games, but I actually see practices. So I'm not really that surprised when I think about the bonds that get formed among teams and then between kids and coaches, which leads to these kinds of events and the success of these events here. So I can't say that I'm surprised by that at all, but it doesn't give me any less enthusiasm each year we do it. So really thrilled to be here today. And without further ado, I'll pass things along to our Master of Ceremony, Coach and Athletic Director, Mark Conroy. It's all yours, Mark.
Thank you, Bob. Welcome back, everyone. So nice to see everyone here for this wonderful ceremony. We gather today to celebrate new inductees into Williston's Athletic Hall of Fame at the end of what has been another tremendous year for Williston athletics. Before we turn our attention to this year's inductees, here's a small sampling of the many highlights from this past year here on campus. Williston was one of only 2 NEPSAC schools. Mind you, there are 160 schools in NEPSAC. They had 4 fall teams. Boys and girls soccer, field hockey, and water polo qualify for NEPSAC championship tournaments this fall. A field hockey team that won its 9th league title in the last 11 years. A boys water polo team that had its finest season in 19 years, led by a senior who broke her all-time single season scoring record. A football team with 16 college-bound players that enjoyed a tremendous season in Class A football, including wins over Exeter, Andover, Hotchkiss, and Suffield. A senior girl who finished one of the truly great running careers in our school's history by winning both the NEPSAC Division II championship and the NEPSAC All-Division All-Star race. To top this off, this spring she broke 3 school records, going undefeated and winning NEPSAC championships in the 800, the 1500, and the 4x4. A girls hockey team that set a school record for wins in a season, going 24-1, giving up only 24 goals in 25 games. Yes, you heard that right. And going to win our first ever NEPSAC Girls Hockey Championship. In a fitting bit of coincidence, the championship tournament is named after our very own Chuck Vernon, class of 61. Boys and girls swim teams that continue their incredible recent success. Our girls have gone 30-2 in the last 4 years, and our boys team won their 2nd NEPSAC championship in a row and the 16th in our school's rich swimming and diving history. This spring, the successes continued as our boys' ultimate team won the New England Prep Championship. Our baseball and softball teams made it to their Western New England Prep Championship games. And our girls' water polo team had its best season ever, winning the first NEPSAC water polo championship in school history, boys or girls. Not surprisingly, this banner year was led by an exceptional senior class that will be sending nearly 50 of its 128 graduates, almost 40%, off to play college sports. This is an astounding accomplishment. If I can brag just a little bit more, if you can't brag at a Hall of Fame ceremony, when can you brag, right? It is also worth noting that our alums are also continuing to make their mark on the national and international stage. Again, here's a small sampling of successes from the past year. 3 NCAA All-Americans in swimming, boys soccer, and girls lacrosse. 2 graduates who are major contributors to teams that won NCAA national championships. A NESCAC Rookie of the Year. A graduate who was the starting center for the Big Ten champion Iowa Hawkeyes in basketball. And of course, our recent commencement speaker, who continues to make her alma mater incredibly proud, not only as one of the fastest women on earth, but also by the manner and grace in which she represents all of us. Pretty incredible, if I do say so myself. Now let's turn our attention to this year's group of honorees. This year we'll be inducting 5 individual athletes, 2 coaches, and 1 team into our Hall of Fame. Our first presenter is a recent graduate who captained our soccer and basketball teams this past year and is headed to Bryant University to play goalie in the fall. Can I ask Selena Negron to come forward? Selena.
My name is Selena Negron, and it is my privilege to present Connie Wilson, class of 1986, for induction into the Hall of Fame. Over her 6 years at Williston, Connie Wilson made quite an impression by earning 12 varsity letters in soccer, basketball, and tennis. She made tremendous contribution to the soccer program, earning 4 letters and MVP honors as a senior. Connie led her team to an outstanding senior season with a record of 9-3-3. On the basketball court as a senior captain, she led our team to the first girls' knapsack championship in school history, earning MVP and all tournament honors. During the spring, she was a strong contributor to a very good tennis team, helping the team to a record of 9-3 as a senior. To cap off her senior year, Connie was awarded the Alumni Bowl for outstanding achievement at the Williston Athletic Program. She then continued her athletic career at Wheaton College, where she captained the soccer team as a senior. Not surprisingly, athletics have remained a big part of Connie's life. She has worked for Advantage International, a sports marketing company, and started her own sports consulting company. Today, she remains very active in her community with her latest competitive passion, pickleball. I would like to invite Connie Wilson to the stage to accept her award.
Is the picture still up? Selena, thank you for that introduction. And as an interesting note, my niece is at Bryant, so I'll have her look out for you next year. I'm truly honored to be here this afternoon. I certainly thank Mark for the call to the hall, and certainly the Hall of Fame committee for this recognition. And I really appreciate that my family and friends are here today, and my mom, dad, Mary, Caroline, Sally, I think Mindy might be back there, other classmates, Jordy and Ellen and a few others. So it's wonderful to be back and see so many familiar faces. I'd also like to congratulate today's inductees, and in particular, Ann Pickrell and Greg Talea. Just thrilled, obviously, to be going into the hall with you, and you might be the last two from staff, faculty, coaches from when I was here many, many years ago. So it's wonderful to go in, and congratulations on everything. It's great to be back on campus. As my parents know, whenever I'm back in town, I try to pop by or see some familiar faces when I'm here. And although I moved away ages ago, I did grow up in Northampton. That's always home, and Williston is not far away from that. So I try to catch a game whenever schedules work, or at least pop by and give somebody a local call when I'm here. And it's wonderful to see today's Williston. While it would have been fun to have all the high-tech equipment, the new gym, the fitness center, the fields, we didn't have that at the time. But we were a lot closer to the Victory Bell with the old gym, so there was that going for us for sure. Williston, as I said, means so much to me, and I think my parents probably more than anybody know that, because I really do talk about it a lot. I do talk about whatever I read along the way, and I try to stay connected, and it does have a very special place in my heart. As a six-year senior, and I guess I should preface that to say that I did start in 7th grade, for those who don't know the six-year senior thing. I loved my Williston time, and Williston's played an incredible role in my life, creating connections, lasting friendships. And while I may not have paid attention to it at the time, the values and lessons that I learned, in the classroom or on the field certainly play a part in everything that I do, creating my professional career path. I always say that I may have had a career in golf. I worked in golf for a very long time, as you Ann knows and others, but I was really a soccer, basketball, tennis player who had a career in golf, which is now turning to pickleball a little bit, so doing that. So we may not have always been the fastest team or the tallest team, and I certainly can say that because I was just sort of a tiny 5'5" basketball player, but we were taught to give everything, be our best, have great sportsmanship, and certainly those are things that I carry through in life. there are a lot of people who've helped get me to where I am today. I certainly would want to thank Jay Grant, who kind of kept me together, taped me together throughout all my time there. But also I was really coached by some wonderful people throughout my whole time, and I just want to acknowledge a couple of them. Chris Edler, Leslie Harrison, John Kahane, who used to run by the soccer fields during the fall and say, "Tenny in the spring, ladies." So he'd make sure we had that on our radar. Coach Blanchette, extra special thanks go to Sue Curry, Barnett, Curl, and Swanee, who aren't with us, but especially Coach Ray Brown. As I've alluded over the years of when our basketball team went into the Hall of Fame our 1986 basketball team was fortunate to go into the Hall of Fame, I think in 2015, and I may have alluded to a lot of what Coach Brown supported over the years. Our coaches always demanded a lot of us, but they always supported and encouraged us, and there's no doubt that Coach Brown did that in spades throughout my time, and certainly when I graduated as well. Just the support is immense, and I thank you for all of that. Thank you for keeping me focused, on the basics, which hopefully helped produce some success on the courts, and all while giving support and your encouragement for me to believe in myself no matter the challenge ahead. I've always had a passion for sports, as everyone has heard today. I love to play. Williston gave me tremendous opportunity. I can be a great spectator. I'm thrilled to have been able to have sports as a backdrop to my career. So to have all of this come full circle here today, I really am truly honored to be recognized by the Hall of Fame. So here's hoping for more New England championships. Let's keep aiming for that victory bell. And most importantly, let's keep that Wildcat pride front and center. I'm filled with so much Wildcat pride today and always, and I truly thank you for this recognition.
Our next presenter is a rising junior and three-sport athlete in field hockey, basketball, and lacrosse, who has a lot in common with our next inductee, including the fact that she's a faculty kid. Can I ask Anna Sawyer to please join us on the stage to present the next inductee?
Hi everyone, my name is Anna Sawyer, and it is my privilege to present Carrie Baker, class of 1992, for induction into the Hall of Fame. Carrie Baker literally grew up on the Williston campus as a daughter of longtime faculty member Ellis Baker, class of 1951. Carrie earned 13 varsity letters, more than any other graduate in the school's history to that point. A true team player, she was known for her assists as much as for the points she tallied as a three-sport athlete in soccer, basketball, and lacrosse. Carrie earned 4 letters playing on the varsity soccer team, where she played both in the field and in goal, a rare combination even in those days. She earned MVP honors as both a junior and senior. Playing for Ray Brown in the winter, she was a team captain, earning MVP honors, and was selected to play in the New England Prep All-Star Game as both a junior and senior. In the spring, Carrie enjoyed a tremendous career playing lacrosse. She earned 5 varsity letters and was named MVP 3 times and team captain twice. As a senior, she broke the school's single-season scoring record with 51 goals in 13 games. Like our last inductee, Carrie was awarded the Alumni Bowl as a senior in recognition of her impact on Williston Northampton athletics. After graduation, she attended Middlebury College, where she played soccer and lacrosse for 2 years before a knee injury ended her athletic career. Carrie then transitioned to theater and now serves as professor of theater and film and associate dean of the College of Liberal Arts at the University of Alaska Fairbanks. Carrie, her husband Dragos, and their 2 children lead active lives, taking advantage of the natural beauty in Alaska. I would like to invite Carrie Baker to the stage to accept her award.
Oh, hi. This is such a lovely honor to be here. I want to start with acknowledging my parents, Alice Baker and Barbara Baker, who couldn't be here with us today, but they're certainly here with us in spirit. They wanted to be here. It was their service and decades of dedication to this institution that allowed me and my sister the opportunity for a wonderful education at Williston, and of course to have these amazing athletic experiences that we're celebrating today. So lots of love and thanks to Mom and Dad. When I think of Williston, I think of childhood. I think of leaf forts and snow forts at 8 Brewster Ave. I think of going across campus to watch plays that Dad directed on the Williston stage, eating every meal in the dining hall. The food's gotten better. Going to watch basketball games as a little kid, thinking, oh, I want to do that one day. It was an incredibly supportive community to grow up within. And when I think of being a student at Williston, of course, I had incredibly impactful experiences in the classroom with incredible teachers like Lisa Snook and Steve Seabolt, Swanee, Doc Gow, Greg Tulea, and of course the experiences that I had on the Williston stage, directed by my dad, really informed my career and life trajectory as an actor, director, and now professor. But probably what I think of most when I think of Williston is the soccer field, basketball court, and lacrosse field. We're all here today because sports mean so much more than just the game or the competition. We learn about teamwork and community building and responsibility to others and hard work and how to push through your own perceived limitations. And I think probably most importantly, we learn how to lose and we learn how to fail, which of course is important for any life. Also, as Connie said, incredible coaches here at Williston: Swanee, Esty Tickner, Ray Brown, Greg Tulea, Barb Heyer, Sue Patrone, Jen Fulcher, and yes, Jay Grant also held my ankles together. In fact, Jay Grant wrapped, I think it was my right ankle, so I could go to junior prom and fit a shoe over the tape. It was an epic wrapping job. Soccer for me was about perseverance. We, on our ruddy field, we were mighty in spirit. We were not so mighty on the field, although we did have incredible coaches. And I played goalie most of the time, and so I got pummeled in most games, but it was a really great way to learn how to play goal, right? If I had only had a couple shots on me every game, I probably wouldn't have figured it out. So, and I went on to play at Middlebury, so that was great. Basketball, for me, was learning about performance under pressure, which of course, feeds into everything in life now. I never felt like I was very good at basketball, but I was big and I was strong and I knew how to kind of throw my weight around. And I remember a holiday tournament. I think I was in 9th grade or 10th grade. Young, didn't know how to control my physical energy yet. Then I fouled in the last 10 seconds of the game and we lost the tournament because of that. And I went home and took a shower and was just weeping and crying in the shower, wailing even probably. And I came downstairs afterwards and my whole team was right there. And that was a really wonderful lesson for me in just the power of the group and the community in lifting someone up. So, and then lacrosse. Lacrosse was my jam. Lacrosse was where I found that flow, and I was out of my head and I was in my body, and I just felt like it was all instinctual, and that was a really incredible feeling, which is it feels like a rare feeling. Barb Heyer was my first female coach, and she taught me a lot about visualization and the power of the connection between the athlete's mind and the athlete's body. I remember she had this hot pink plastic bracelet that she would have us all hold on to. And then she would talk about the power of the team and supporting each other. And then she'd bury the bracelet in the field and talk about how that bracelet was going to give us energy during the game. And it was powerful stuff. And then I went on to play at Middlebury, and Missy Foote was my lacrosse coach there, and she would do the same thing. We'd sit down in the locker room before a game. She'd have us all close our eyes. She'd talk us through a play, and then we'd go out on the field and we would execute it. So certainly learning about that mind-body connection was a powerful thing for me, which totally connects to acting, directing, and teaching acting, right? Actors all the time are connecting to their characters, imagining circumstances that their characters are living and connecting emotionally. So it all ties together somehow. Just briefly, my kids and my husband and I live in Alaska, and we recreate and adventure a lot in the outdoors. And a couple of years ago, we were cross-country skiing, and we had the night before we had watched the movie Soul. And in that movie, there's a scene where the main character, who's a jazz piano player, has the scene where he plays the piano, and he's sort of transported to another plane of existence. And he's moving from instinct, and his heart is soaring, and he's not thinking, he's just doing. And he's just sort of is taken away by the music. And my son and I were kind of ahead of my husband and daughter skiing. And my son, who was 12 at the time, said to me, "You know, Mama, that's what I feel like when I'm writing." And I said, "Cool, that's awesome to feel that at 12. Follow that in your life." I said to him, the only time I've ever felt that feeling was on the lacrosse field and on stage. So I just want to thank Williston Athletics for helping me find that flow and for teaching me how to follow instinct. Thank you very much.
Our next presenter is a member of the class of '98 and just finished her 19th year as an admission officer and coach here at Williston. She has been our head girls ice hockey coach for the past 18 years and led our team to its first Snapsack championship this past winter. I'd like to ask Krista Talbot-Saifu to the stage to introduce our next inductee. Krista.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Krista Talbot-Saifu, and I have the proud honor of presenting Danny Holzschlag, class of 1996, for induction into the Hall of Fame. Danny attended Williston for 3 years, excelling in field hockey, ice hockey, and softball. During the fall, she was the captain and MVP in field hockey. In the winter, Danny transitioned to Lassone Rink, her first love, ice hockey. She contributed to one of the most successful 3-year runs of any girls' ice hockey team of that era, winning nearly 70% of their games. She captained the team both during her junior and senior years. In her junior year alone, she scored 60 points in only 19 games. While the statistics from her senior year have mysteriously disappeared, we are confident that she's our school's all-time leading scorer. In the spring, Danny headed to the softball field where she was a 2-time captain, winning MVP honors as a senior. Fittingly, at the end of her senior year, she too was awarded the Alumni Bowl. After Williston, Danny attended Princeton University, where she enjoyed a distinguished career on the ice for the women's ice hockey team, winning all Ivy recognition numerous times, serving as a 3-time captain, and winning this prestigious Patty Katzmeyer Award given for outstanding contribution to the program. Danny was twice selected for the U.S. Development Camp in Lake Placid, and in October 1997 was chosen to represent the ECAC All-Stars versus the U.S. Hockey Women's National Team. Following graduation from Princeton, Danny moved to Boston to work in the biotech industry, but stayed involved with hockey by serving as a coach at MIT, including 2 years as a head coach. She and her husband Jason and their 2 sons continue to reside in Boston. I'd like to invite Danny to the stage to accept her award.
Perfect.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks, Mark, and thanks, Jay, and thank you, Krista, for that introduction. It sounds much more impressive what you said than what I remember. But honestly, when Jay called me, I had that thought, maybe they've got the wrong person, right? I never really thought about the stats here at Williston. I think it's really hard in a speech of this length to, sort of acknowledge and thank everything that Williston brought into my life. I was probably unusual in that time. I was going to school in Wisconsin, and I reached a point where folks said I wasn't allowed to play hockey anymore. Sorry. And my guidance counselor said, "You'll never make it out of Wisconsin." And for me, that was really hard. And don't make me cry. No. But what that brought to me, though, was a call from a hockey coach I know, and she called Esty Tickner and said, "I've got a kid who wants to play hockey." Sorry. And, I think when I think of my life and kind of where it landed, that one call kind of changed everything for me. But when I think of all the stats, right, it sounds like a highlight reel. And the reality is, Anne's looking at me going, I know where Danny's going with this. When I got here, it was not a smooth transition. For me, that was the first time I was away from home, trying to manage school, hockey, all kinds of priorities, and it was really rough. I was really fortunate to have some great people around me. Esty Tickner and Swanee, Mrs. Fay were my dorm parents, and to give you a sense of how out of place I was, I remember after the first week of school, Esty said, "How's it going, Danny?" And I said, "I don't think anybody likes me here." And she said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, I say hi, and people say, 'Hey, what's up?' and they walk by." I was like, why don't they stop to hear the answer? Coming from Wisconsin, that was really weird for me, right? So Esty had to really, I think, she helped me a lot on the ice. There were lots of lessons for me, how to be gracious in victory and in defeat. But off the ice, she was really sort of a guiding force for me. And, I think that's really changed everything. I think the other thing that happened is I met my college counselor, Mr. Talea, who, by the way, was in my speech before I knew you'd be here today. But unlike my counselor in Wisconsin, he took a look at the list of places I wanted to go, and he said, "Well, I think we have some work to do." And he very quickly helped me understand that I needed to work as hard outside of the rink as inside the rink, and got me on the path to much better English skills, and I don't know how you did it, but you convinced me to take the SAT 4 times while I was here at Williston. Having teenagers now, I don't know quite how you did that, but good job. And I think, to me, that was all the difference, to have a couple people that were really strong advocates from the beginning, who thought I could do what I wanted to do, which was just play hockey in college. It's really funny when people ask me about college hockey. They say, "Wow, you went to Princeton. That must have been really hard academically." And I always chuckle and I say, it was nothing compared to Williston. Williston really, it challenged me in so many ways. But the beauty of it was I had people around me that I could call upon at any point. Mr. Brown used to always make sure that when I answered questions in class, I was confident with my answers. And at the time, I didn't really get it. And then I got into the business world, and I was like, this is how I need to deliver a message. It's those little sort of nudges of everybody around you. I also think that first year, you're talking about how failure comes into your life, right? I made a pretty big mistake my sophomore year. Was placed on probation. But Esty and Swanee and Mrs. Fay really kind of came and helped out. I just remember Mrs. Fay coming to my room and saying, "Are you okay? Get some sleep. I'll check on you in the morning." those types of things, I think, as a kid, really mean a lot. And so I was trying to, it's hard when you're trying to summarize all of your experience. It's such a wonderful place. I had the benefit of having Miss Pickrell as a field hockey coach, and Mrs. Fay both as a dorm parent and as a coach. And I was thinking about what impact, if I had to sum it up, Williston had on my life, both in and out, in and out of the athletic arena. And I would say the biggest thing is that, having coaches that believed in you at all times and really supported you was a big turning point for me. And, I think it's easy to support somebody when things don't go well, or when things go well. When things don't go well, that's when you figure out what a culture of a community really is. And, I think for me, making some mistakes and learning how to rebound from that with the help of the folks around me has really kind of changed how I view the world. And even today, if somebody makes a mistake, I'm more likely to ask a question about why they made the mistake than I am to jump to a conclusion, which I think is impactful both in business and with your kids. I just want to say I'm really humbled that Williston gave me an honor. I don't think I can ever repay, the impact that it's had on my life, and to have to go in with you guys, it means a lot. So I just want to say thank you. Jay Grant, I was also a very frequent flyer in the training room. When he called me, he said, yeah, you used to be in there, quite a bit. And he did patch up my quad and all those types of things, but he was just another person I would go hang out and talk to, and he would say, hey, Danny, how's it going, right? All of those little interactions mean a lot. And thank you, Mark, for this award. I'm just happy to be here. And Krista, it's so great to see you. Congratulations to the team. You guys have just taken it to a whole other level, and I know you're impacting a lot of those kids' lives, so appreciate it. And to sum it up, thanks for the opportunity to play hockey and continue with athletics. I think that's meant a lot. I'd probably be in Wisconsin, maybe happy, I don't know, but certainly wouldn't have played college hockey and done all the great things that I've had the opportunity to do. But I think the big thing for Williston is, it's okay to make mistakes. Surround yourself with really great people, and you'll get through it. Thank you.
Our next presenter is another member of the class of 2022 who enjoyed a tremendous swimming and water polo career at Williston, highlighted by helping lead our girls water polo team to their first ever championship this spring. She'll be playing water polo at Villanova next year. Can I ask Ella Maddox to come forward? Ella.
Good afternoon. My name is Ella Maddox, and it is my great pleasure to present Caitlin Kennedy Garvey, class of 2002, for induction into the Hall of Fame. Caitlin Kennedy Garvey amassed an amazing 16 letters in soccer, skiing, and softball during her time at Williston. On the soccer field, she won 5 varsity letters during one of the most successful stretches in Williston girls soccer history. She captained the first Williston girls soccer team to compete in a NEPSAC championship final. Caitlin was also a 6-time letter winner for the ski team during the most successful era of Williston girls skiing, winning our first NEPSAC championship in 2001. She captained the ski team while earning both MVP and All-League recognition. In the spring, she could be found on the softball diamond, where she won 5 letters. She had a terrific senior year, leading the team to the Western New England tournament while serving as team captain, earning MVP and All-League recognition. At the culmination of Caitlin's Williston Northampton career, she too was awarded the Alumni Bowl in recognition for her outstanding contribution to the athletic program. After Williston, she had a successful college career at Skidmore in softball. As a starting pitcher, Caitlin pitched a total of over 300 innings and didn't miss a single game since she played third base when she wasn't on the mound. She earned all Liberty League recognition in both 2004 and 2005. Caitlin currently lives with her family in Maryland. Caitlin currently lives with her family in Indiana, where she teaches at Bloomingdale South High School and continues to keep her hand in softball by coaching at the youth and secondary school level. I would like to invite Caitlin Kennedy Garvey, class of 2002, to join us on stage to accept her award.
Good afternoon. Thank you for those remarks, for that wonderful introduction. I'd like to start out by thanking AD Mark Conroy, Headmaster Hill, the selection committee for granting me the opportunity to be part of this amazing group of 2022 Hall of Fame inductees. Congratulations to each and every one of you. I am both humbled and honored to receive this award. It is wonderful to be back in Western Massachusetts, a place that I grew up and a place that I will always call home, and to be able to share this beautiful campus with my family. Looking back at my time at Williston, I have grown a new and greater appreciation for all of the ways that my time here has prepared me to handle adversity and take on new challenges. I was able to transition to my college life ready to take on the rigor that being a student athlete presents and find success on and off the field. Even as I have recently taken on the role of teacher, coach, and parent, I still find myself drawing on this incredible foundation that has without a doubt shaped the person that I've become today. I entered the 7th grade at Williston nervous and a bit scared, but with the permission of Principal Kelly, I was able to join some of the upper school sports teams, which was not a common thing. This decision would set the course for my athletic career at Williston, and it would give me the opportunity to excel at 3 sports that I truly loved. Playing on upper school teams as a middle schooler should have intimidated me, but I was part of some amazing teams. I would not have been able to excel as an athlete if it weren't for the support and friendship of some of the best teammates. On the softball and soccer field, we celebrated our successes and picked each other up after defeat. Even in an individual sport like skiing, where you are competing against your own teammates, there was always a sense of camaraderie and sportsmanship. The list of individuals who impacted my life as an athlete is quite long, and I am truly grateful for each and every player that joined me on the field and on the slopes. I would not be standing here today if it were not for the selfless time and effort of my coaches and everyone in the athletic department, including Jay Grant. 6 years of pre-wrap, which if you played soccer back in the day, I don't know if they still do that. I mean, we used it to keep our hair back. It was a decoration. Trips to the trainer, water bottles filled, pizza on the way home from the mountain, on-field stretching between innings and during halftime, perfectly filled soccer balls and lined fields. These small things make a huge difference in the life of an athlete, and I am thankful for all who were involved in a seamless experience performing here at Williston. While I wish I could thank each and every one of you in person, I would like to make mention of a few coaches who shaped my athletic career: Peter Gunn, Molly Ward, Ed Hing, Melissa Walkley, and Jeff Pilgrim. Each of you believed in me, saw my potential, and inspired me to be the best version of myself. You provided me with the opportunities to excel on the field and on the slope, but just as importantly, you cared about me as a person. My success on the field was also in large part due to the support I received in the classroom, and I feel lucky to have had some of the best teachers who showed up to cheer me on, clipped newspaper articles celebrating my achievements, and gave me all the help I needed to meet my academic goals. It goes without saying that the support system that surrounded me here at Williston during my formidable years was invaluable, and for this I am forever grateful. Last but not least, I would like to thank my family. I feel incredibly lucky to have been given the chance to attend Williston, and this would not have been possible if it weren't for my parents. My family instilled in me my love of sports, my competitive drive, and the belief that with hard work I could achieve anything. It was their desire to give me as many experiences as possible that opened the doors to the sports that I grew to love. Their support gave me the drive to accomplish what I did at Williston and beyond. Thank you for the early morning rides to the mountain, for catching me in full gear in the backyard, taking a few pitches in places where I'm sure it left a mark, and for all the endless camps and private lessons. But most of all, thank you for showing up. There are no words to describe the feeling of looking out in a crowd and seeing that familiar face cheering you on. Again, this is truly an honor, so thank you to all of you for being here to share this moment with me, especially my husband Greg, and my 2 little ones, Grace and Connor, and my brother Gary. Thank you very much.
I'd like to call up one of our veteran coaches who's had the distinction of being a head coach of 4 different sports during her long, distinguished coaching career at Williston: soccer, softball, basketball, and lacrosse. She also had the great fortune of coaching this next inductee. Can I ask Jen Fulcher to come forward?
Yes, I've coached for a little while. Cheaters on. Good afternoon. My name is Jen Fulcher, and I have the great privilege of presenting Bridget Instrom, class of 2012, for induction into the Hall of Fame. If you put a stick in Bridget Instrom's hands, chances are you're going to see something amazing happen. A 3-sport athlete at Williston who earned a total of 12 letters in field hockey, ice hockey, and lacrosse, Bridget had a drive and dedication that resulted in a record-breaking athletic career. In field hockey, under Coach Pickerel's tutelage, she went from freshman novice to the all-time leading scorer in our school's history. Her teams won the Western England Prep Championship and qualified for the NEPSAC postseason play for 4 straight years. In her senior year, serving as a team captain, Bridget was recognized as the team's MVP and was selected to the all-league team and set the school record for goals scored in both the season and career. I will add that she only played field hockey in grades 10 through 12. During the winter, Bridget headed to Williston, where she contributed to a very successful run for varsity hockey. In the spring, she played lacrosse, where her accolades speak for themselves. 2-time captain, 3-time NEPSAC All-Star, 3-time MVP, an all-time leading scorer with 233 career goals, including 89 as a senior. At the end of her senior year, she was named the first lacrosse All-American in our school's history. The team compiled a record of 45-3 during her 4 years in the program. Like other inductees today, she was awarded the Alumni Bowl at the end of the year. After graduation, Bridget had a stint at the Division I Ohio State before transferring to Middlebury, where she enjoyed a tremendous 2-sport career in field hockey and lacrosse. In field hockey, she was named a second-team All-American as a junior and a first-team All-American as a senior, leading Middlebury to a 2015 national championship while being named the outstanding player of the tournament. Bridget made her mark on the women's lacrosse team as well, where she was also named an All-American as a senior, leading her team to yet another national championship. Bridget graduated from Middlebury in 2016 with a degree in neuroscience. She has since earned a master's in physical assistance studies at Quinnipiac University. I could not be more pleased to invite Bridget Instrom to the stage to accept her award.
Can't believe it's been 10 years. It's crazy. All right, first off, thank you, Mr. Conroy and the committee for even considering me for this honor. The fact my name was even thought about is truly humbling, and I'm really appreciative. The fact that I'm being inducted with these legends, even my field hockey coach, is really something special to me, so thank you. I really just want to take the time to thank everyone who's been a part of my development as a person and a player on and off of the field. Firstly, my parents who are both here, the hours you spent driving me state to state, practice to practice, couldn't have done without you. Stood through freezing cold games and practices and the scorching heat of lacrosse jamborees every week. You have no idea how much that means, and you were always at every game from age 2 to 22, so it's really special, and your support means everything. And then, well, my coaches, Talbot's crying, gonna make me cry. Talbot, Miss Fulcher, Miss Pickerel, Coach Davey, who I didn't see yet, but thank you to her as well. You've been a huge part of my development as a player and a person on and off the field, and your commitment to every player and person that you come across is really something special. And yeah, all the lessons that you taught me are things that I still use to this day, not even athletically but professionally, how to work hard, be mentally and physically tough, be a good teammate, and have fun while doing it. So thank you all, and it's always a great day to be a Wildcat. And thank you, it's great to be here.
Our next presenter is a rising senior and member of the class of 2023. She will captain in both the soccer and track and field teams next year. Could I ask Annika Jensen to come to the stage to make this next introduction? Annika.
Good afternoon. My name is Annika Jensen, and I have the great privilege of presenting the undefeated 1986 girls track and field team for induction into the Hall of Fame. As a fledgling program with its inception in the early 1980s, the 1986 Williston girls track and field team was part of an era of domination. Led by head coach Ken Heath, 57, and assistants Al Shaler, Paul Sonerson, and Caroline Welsh-Busconi, the 1986 team was the first girls track and field team in school history to finish the regular season undefeated. This streak would continue through the 1987 season and halfway through the 1988 before their dual meet winning streak was stopped at 22. To say that the 1986 team was dominant that spring would be an understatement. With the exception of a close meet with Kingswood Oxford, the average score of the other 8 meets was an astounding 99-27. The team was stacked with a tremendous array of multi-sport athletes. Led by senior captain Beth Hale, after sweeping through its dual meet season, the team headed to the New England Prep Championship held at MIT. As was the case throughout the season, the girls competed their hearts out, coming up just short by finishing runner-up to the champion, Governor Dummer. There were some tremendous performances as 10 different girls earned points that day. Leading the way was Captain Beth Hale, who had just had an incredible day as she won 3 individual events: the long jump, the 200-meter dash, the 400-meter dash, and anchored the 4x1 and 4x4 relay teams that both won gold. Thrower Leah Stalsmith also had a tremendous day, coming in 4th in the discus and winning the shot put. Additionally, up-and-comer freshman Jen Lucier broke the school record in the 100 when she finished 3rd. It was indeed a memorable season. Could I ask all the members of the 1986 girls track team who are present to please join us on stage to receive your awards.
Oh yeah, picture, photo. You get it. You're on one side.
So we are the 1987 team captains, pinch hitting for Beth Hale, who could not be here. We both cry very easily, yes, and even when we're happy, so bear with us. Beth is attending her child's graduation today, I believe, which is why she couldn't be here, so we were asked to pinch hit. And if you're like me, the other inductees, your family's been singing the Hall of Fame song since the letter arrived, which is kind of funny. I was lucky to be a member of the 1986 track team, actually all 4 years. You might have to help me. Crying because I didn't realize at the time how big a part of my life it would be. So even yesterday morning at 5:30, running by the tent, because I still run even to this day, the memories just are right there. I told you we cry when we're happy.
I haven't even started to speak, and she's making me cry.
Yeah, so I didn't realize at the time, but I think what I loved most about the team was how different all of us athletes were. I mean, Holly's big claim, I know you did a little bit of everything, but javelin was your big thing, and I was a long distance runner. Doesn't seem like we really go together, and yet we were on this team with jumpers, pole vaulters, sprinters, I'm sure I'm gonna leave things out, shot put. All these events that just really didn't seem to do anything together, except that they all took place at the same field, the same, I guess we could say, kind of worn down track, which is long gone now, down by the new gym.
Gravel,
yeah. But what I remember is, even though we were all so different, for me it was running around the track. I did long distance, and everybody was always cheering for you, no matter what sport they were, what part of the track team they were. And I guess I wished I, at that time, knew how important it would be to me, but it wasn't until a few years later, watching my own Williston track son down at his own track meets, and I realized like how much it all meant and how proud I was to be a part of Williston track and watch him. So I'll let you talk a little bit.
Because we're a hodgepodge.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're pitching,
bear with us.
crazy notes and what have you. So.
And we were told 1 to 2 minutes, and I know I'm a rule follower, so that's what I'm doing.
That's why they put me here, because you know me.
Yes.
I'm not that.
There we go. You have notes.
I know, they're a mess. Okay, so here we go. Please, we decided we'd jump in with each other. I have down here, sorry. Okay, so we'll start like this way. And like I said, it's a hodgepodge. Thank you. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for all of you who voted us in today, our team. Like Tracy said, it was really cool because we were a team. It was the first time ever, at least for me, and I'm sure a lot of us, that were on a team like that, where you all did different things, but you were a team together. And it was kind of cool because the boys were there too. So, you could have your crush nearby. And it was next to the gym, not all the way up to the fields. But, I joined track because, like most of us, I'm skipping around. I'll say this and then I'll jump back. But basically, I thought that I needed to experience all different types of sports because we were born before Title IX. And we were always taught how lucky we were to have this opportunity, and we didn't get it, So, sorry. So I knew how to do the triple jump really well from gym class once a year. So I said, I am going to join track this year after I'd done a year of softball. And so I get there, and there's no such thing as the triple jump. So I had to figure something out. But anyway, I figured to be a good team player and did what my coaches helped me do. So that's pretty neat, and I learned a lot. And okay, so going back to this. So in our age group, we're representing the Williston Northampton School for Boys and Girls in 1986. Not sure if any of us at that age could grasp the significance that we were all part of this new experiment that women and men fought for us to have. My older sisters, mother, grandmother, all their peers onward did not have that opportunity. It was our job to do it. Do everything, not just here. My friend Kim was in charge of spelling bees, it was everything. So
so they did not get that right to play sports similar like the boys, even if they were faster than the boys or what have you. They, didn't get to do that. So we're very fortunate. It's okay. Now we gotta go over here. I'm sorry, you guys. Woo. So, I'm sorry. It's quite an honor, and all girls at that time. We were born before Title IX, and not until you are an older adult does it really hit you when you show our childhood went from acrobats, baton twirling, and cheerleading goals to boys sports in gym class every few weeks, switching it up from elementary school on. We learned so much from our elementary school gym teachers and interested teachers and parents and kind supportive older people, etc. As you can imagine, many adults dug in for us and did the work. And that's why the girls today have it better. So here we are, an example of that experiment. Jack of all trades, We didn't have that one-track sports mind thing, So anyway, we're very lucky. We're a great team. We had great coaches.
We did.
No, it's not just our own coaches, our coaches that had us for other sports, people who worked in the school that might not be a coach, cared about the school in general and really supported us. And we're so joyful if you were in the dining hall, the person behind the counter was cheering you on. It's such a great family here for so many reasons beyond sports. So just to skip up a little bit, so can you see what I'm doing?
Well, I don't have my readers.
Oh, you don't have the readers, okay. So, basically, Williston, Northampton, per usual, was chess moves ahead of most schools and certainly a leader in paving the way for public schools to join into other sports and new sports for girls. For example, our freshman year was the first year, 35 years ago, for girls hockey, ice hockey. So my roommate Liza, when she got her first goal, for some reason, because it was wintertime and things didn't match up with practices, I got to see that happen. It was just not just because it was wonderful, because she was my dear friend, but also because it meant something, because when I was a kid, the boys played hockey, and could have been just as good in our figure skates, and we got to play on the pond or whatever for fun, but the idea of it, what? You want to do that? It wasn't even a thought. You were a figure skater, even though you could be better than them. So, I don't know, it's just such a neat thing to have gone here with all the wonderful coaches that supported us. I don't know if Mr. Bagley's here today, but he wasn't part of this year's, but he did a lot for me, as well as the coaches for today.
Coach Heath would make us run around the track, all of us together, to warm up, right, for a couple laps.
Yep. So that was all good. And then, on top of all that, it's just not lost on us today. Class of 72, 50 years, first year girls on campus. Love for them to write a book, the guys and the girls, to hear what that was like for history reasons for this school down the road when we're all gone. But it's definitely not lost on us, the significance of it all, that just happened to be the same year that Title IX passed, in 1972. And so we were going to talk a little bit about some coaching things, and so figured we'd go with Al Shaler, since, Okay, so for some of you, who has a hand that knows Al Shaler? Or new? Yes. Great. Okay. So you can elaborate for others after. Okay, so my freshman year, I lived next door to him, as well, 2 doors down, right from the Bakers, which cracks me up that they're both here today, because being a teeny bit older at that time meant a lot. And I always remember them spying on us, and they were doing this on the side of the house for like 10 minutes. I love that. Anyway, so Mr. Shaler, he was notorious for his English class for many reasons. And vocabulary is something that I remember. I don't know if anybody does, but definitely several words in my life crack me up all the time because of my time with him. Transition to another part of our lives where I'm on the track field for the first time running in the, whatever you call those, what do you call those things?
Spikes.
Well, I had spikes the first time, but also the thing you do this in. Blocks, thank you. So I had him doing that, and at the same time, one of the words of the week was, or his phrases was champing at the bit. Now this drove Al Shaler crazy because he gave us all wonderful mnemonic devices and wonderful analogies and things, but this one got to him, so he wanted to make sure we definitely always said it properly. And he was very angry at Yogi Berra because his statements, being, you know, how he speaks sometimes so fun and cute, was messing it up and saying chomping at the bit. So we all had to know the difference. So I do. So, but at that time, being a Red Sox fan and, you know, not really into baseball so much and baseball cards and stats and stuff, and certainly not any other team, I did not know who Yogi Berra was. I thought he was talking about Yogi Bear. I had no idea, and half the class was the same way, that we did not understand for a few minutes what the heck he was so mad about this cartoon character for. So anyway, that's just one of my funny stories about him. And you know, this is kind of funny, and anybody who knows him knows it's funny that I was wearing the spiked shoes because he had another thing during class with shoes. He had poor manners or disrespectful shoes. So that was a really neat thing to show that, like, you get them somewhere else as well as maybe on the court or field or what have you.
All right, well, thank you very much for bestowing this honor on the 1986 track team. We're very appreciative.
Yes, thank you very much.
In the fall of 1983, Greg Talea arrived at Williston eager to tackle all facets of the prep school job description, including taking the reins of a new girls cross-country program. Starting with a first-year roster of 8, Coach Talea quickly demonstrated that he was the right coach for the job, as he would go on to lead the program for 39 years, from 1983 to 2021. The team grew in numbers in a way that is unprecedented in NEPSAC Division II cross-country, averaging between 25 to 35 girls on the roster each fall. His competitive record of accomplishments is the stuff of coaching legends. Consider these lofty achievements: 3 undefeated seasons in 1991, 2008, and 2019, NEPSAC championship team wins in both 1986 and 1991, a record of 25 consecutive winning seasons, 8 times finishing in the top 3 at NEPSAC championship races, and 2 runners who became NEPSAC champions, including one in his final race on our home course, me. All told, Coach T, as his athletes call him, would go on to accumulate a remarkable record of 274 to 95. While this record of competitive excellence is certainly worthy of recognition, it would be a mistake to overlook the greatest contribution of his long, distinguished career at the helm of girls cross country. His true legacy can be found in the incredible transformative impact he has had on so many students who discovered the joy of running and being part of something bigger than themselves while running under his guidance. Greg Talea will forever be linked with the culture of individual effort and team pride that has become the hallmark of running cross-country at Williston. I am delighted to invite Coach Talea to the stage to accept this induction.
Holly, I'm not sure that my remarks will be as organized or focused as yours. I'll try my best. I've discovered this week that it's quite a pleasant experience to listen to public compliments made about you. But hearing those words from the now legendary Abigail Toohey makes this moment for me that much better. Abigail has given me and all the other spectators at her races plenty of thrilling experiences over her 6-year cross-country career. And last November, she capped it off in grand style by winning the Division II championship race held on our home course. Seeing Abigail emerge from the woods for the last few hundred yards of the race with 100 girls from 20 different schools behind her was a true highlight of my coaching career. So Abigail, thank you. In 1983, Rick Francis assigned me to be the girls' varsity cross-country coach merely because there was an opening and because he knew that I had no qualifications to coach soccer or football, two fall sports with more prestige and more visibility. The varsity team had started at Williston in 1978, and since then there had been 3 or 4 different coaches. I had run track in high school and was a recreational jogger, and I suspect that Rick was just trying to fill a slot and hoping for some stability. I am sure that the number 39 was not on his radar. For all of those years, I've been fortunate to be linked to hundreds of runners with certain personal characteristics in common. Strong character and the absolutely required sense of humor, determination, and resilience. The sport itself, I think, attracts a certain kind of person, and I've been the beneficiary of that. Through the years, I have coached star runners like Abigail and Anna Richardson, the now famous Martha Grinnell, who demolished records in my first 2 years, Sue and Shauna Zalazzo, Tracy Stewart, Erin Cassis, Caitlin Mitchell and Krista Talbot, Natalie Monk, Tia Liddell, Dana Caruso, Devin Greenwood, Natalie Quadro, and Maddie Scott. Those teenagers were famous at Williston in their time, and they made me look good as their coach. But I coached hundreds of other runners as well, who also contributed to team successes on Saturdays. They took seriously, I think, my mantra that it was not the winning that really mattered, but the striving to win. All of them brought their very best effort, interest, and desire for improvement to every practice and race. Competing at a high level in cross-country race is an intense and grueling experience, both physically and mentally. And I was astonished every season to discover that so many eager and enthusiastic young people were actually choosing to participate in this crazy, wonderful sport. I want to thank Mark Conray, who always showed interest in my teams and who made me feel that I was doing something important for the school and for the athletes, even if there were much bigger crowds to be found at football and soccer games. And for 39 years, I've been lucky to have had very good assistant coaches who have been true partners with me. 2 are here today, Peter Gunn, who coached ably with me for 6 years, and the new head coach of the team for 2022, Martha McCullough, who has been a tremendous resource and friend to me on the team. I will miss coaching with Martha, and I feel very secure that we're leaving the team in her excellent hands. I also want to acknowledge my wife Frances and our son Owen, who, although abandoned by me for 8 hours on so many round trips to Kent or Berkshire, were always supportive of what I was doing and interested to hear by how much the girls had won that day. Next fall, on Saturday afternoons at 3 o'clock, I will no doubt feel some pangs of nostalgia to be without an experience that has meant so much to me for so many years. Naturally, I will remember the excitement of races and the thrill of competing, and I will no doubt hear the echoes of a good substantial yell and baby in a high chair, who put her up there? That's part of our cheer. The races were big events, yes, but I will also remember the practices. When I would meet the team at the scoreboard or back in the 80s in front of the old gym, practices would start with much laughter, reflecting our satisfaction to be in one another's good company for the afternoon. And after a challenging and exhilarating physical workout, there would be more laughter when we stretched out and cooled down with pride that efforts had been made and limits pushed. I will remember being where I felt that I belonged for 90 minutes every afternoon, with groups of teenagers who wanted also to be there with me. High school runners choose to embrace this very difficult challenge for so many different reasons. They do it for personal achievement and accomplishment. They do it for their parents, for their teammates, and for their school. But as I have told countless teams over the years, I know also that part of the reason that they have done it here at Williston has been for me. That is truly a humbling feeling, one that I'm grateful for and will never forget. Thank you.
And now for our final induction, it is with great pleasure that I introduce one of our rising seniors who will captain our field hockey, squash, and lacrosse teams next year. Can I ask Louisa Coughlin to please come to the stage to present Coach Ann Pickrell for induction into the Hall of Fame. Louisa.
Williston Northampton School was very fortunate when, in the fall of 1982, Ann Pickrell came to campus after having spent 4 years at Cushing Academy. At the time, our girls' sports program at Williston was playing catch-up to a boys' program that was well established. A Springfield College grad with a passion for athletics, it didn't take long for Coach Pickrell to impact the growth of the girls' program. In her first 5 years, she was the head coach of both the field hockey and lacrosse programs. As the years unfolded, she would make her greatest contribution to field hockey, a program that would ultimately lead for 30 years with distinction, winning 220 games along the way. NEPSAC Championship Tournament play began during the mid-90s and soon became one of the measuring sticks of competitive success. During the 16 years that these tournaments took place, Coach Pickrell's teams qualified for the tournaments a remarkable 13 times, including advancing to the semis and finals 5 times. Additionally, her teams routinely won the Western New England Prep Championship. In the spring of 2003, thanks in large part to the initiative of its first coach, Williston made the decision to start a girls' golf program. Coach Pickrell eagerly stepped into this leadership role and quickly established a program that grew under her mentorship. She would lead the girls' golf program for the past 20 years through this recent spring, winning over 100 matches. While Coach Pickrell's competitive success is certainly noteworthy, her greatest impact has been on the lives of countless girls who have had the privilege of competing under her watchful eye. Without question, Coach Ann Pickrell has had a tremendous impact on the evolution of girls' athletics at Williston over the last 40 years. I am honored to invite Coach Ann Pickrell to the stage to accept her Hall of Fame induction.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Louisa, for your introduction, and Mark and the Hall of Fame Committee for my selection. It's truly an honor to be on the stage with so many distinguished recipients. I am in awe of your Williston accomplishments and congratulate you on your Hall of Fame induction. Looking at this first 2 rows and 3 rows, I saw you all compete, interviewed many of you. So proud to have coached several of you and continuing to applaud your successes. Been a great deal of satisfaction both for Greg and I to be coming in with such wonderful inductees. So thank you all for being here today, and we're really proud of you in that way. I would not have taken the position at Williston 40 years ago if it had not included coaching. I grew up playing multiple sports. Both of my parents were successful high school athletes who went on to teach and coach, and sports were a way of life for me. When I arrived at Williston, I already had 4 years of coaching experience in field hockey and skiing, 2 years of track and field, and beginning a lacrosse team at Cushing Academy. Our Williston girls teams in the early 80s were not particularly competitive or successful. And the teams I coached in lacrosse and field hockey did not find success easily or quickly. That success did come, though, through committed athletes and disciplined practices and a willingness to put team chemistry above all. I'd like to take a moment and thank some of the assistant coaches that are here, particularly Jen Fulcher, who went on to coach the lacrosse team. Was one of my assistants along with Barb Heyer when Jen was an intern at Williston, and we all know what a successful career Jen had as a coach here. And right next to her, Krista Talbot, who I first met when she came out from Lake Danny, came to Williston to pursue a career in hockey, and couldn't be more proud of Krista and her team's accomplishments this year in winning the NEPSAC championship. So I've lost count of the assistant coaches that I've had over the years. When I got to over 20 in field hockey, I said I better stop counting in that regard. There are so many highlights over 40 years that I will never forget, and I'm going to just share a few of those with you. Amy Brown, class of '84, scoring the winning goal in lacrosse over NMH as time ran off the clock. I thought, okay, maybe I can coach this sport. Rabia Bajwa, class of '97, coming off the bench at Hotchkiss and breaking a 1-1 tie for Williston's first ever field hockey win over the Bearcats. There was a rainbow at the end of the field when that happened, and I said, somebody was looking out for us up there. Or Williston's first ever golf team in 2003, which was inspired by alums Lisa Shields Sejak, class of '94, and Meg Sullivan, class of '01, who's here this afternoon, and their respective experiences playing on our boys' teams. And lastly, topping Taft School at Watertown Golf Club in 2019 in convincing style. Those are just the tip of the iceberg and all the memories that I will have forever and I will cherish. What's most meaningful to me, as to Greg, are the relationships that we have forged with that I have forged with nearly over 1,000 athletes at Williston in field hockey, lacrosse, and golf. I'm still connected to many of those alums and enjoy following their life journeys. Thank you to the many athletes, assistant coaches, and athletic department members who have made my coaching experience so rewarding. I would be remiss if I did not credit my coaching mentors, Dottie Potter-Zanotti at Springfield College, whom colleague Kathy Noble and I learned how to be coaches from. Ray Brown, who's here this afternoon, early in my time at Williston, would always say, "You're such a positive coach, you've got to push him a little bit harder." And that's what I learned from you, Ray, and I appreciate that. And credit you for some of our successes as well. Jay Grant, who has been mentioned numerous times, who's out in his RV. Jay, you may not recall, coached our boys hockey team to a lot of success, and then went on to, along with Melissa Brousseau, to be groundbreaking in the care of our athletes. And I don't think Williston would have had the success that we've had with our athletes at all our games if it hadn't been for Jay and Melissa. Lastly, Mark was inspiring to me as we moved into a more competitive situation in his arrival at Williston, and there are a few times that I was in tears in his office and understanding how competitive we could be, and I always got support from Mark, so I appreciate that. Michelle Morgan, the golf coach at Amherst College and parent of 2 Williston alums, Jesse and Meredith, was an inspiration for me in helping to start our girls golf program. And then finally, PGA pro Tom Sullivan, parent of Sarah, class of 2019. They've inspired me to pursue motivation beyond the X's and O's of coaching, and I will always be grateful for their encouragement and support. I sincerely appreciate this honor. Go Wildcats, always the blue and green.
How lucky are we to be a part of this fortunate school. And thank you so much for everyone coming back today to celebrate these inductions today. I swell with pride just to hear all these remarks. But thanks again, congratulations to our inductees, and have a wonderful day, everyone. Take care.